So, if my voice sounds a little different, it's because I have a cold. If my voice sounds a little annoyed, it's because I'm recording this on a Sunday night, actually early Monday morning, which is a bit later than I wanted to start. See, it's technically May the 4th, which we've all apparently decided is Star Wars Day, because you get it. And I decided I had to put this off to the last minute because everyone was sure that something Star Wars related was going to be announced and I could do the show about that. Believe it or not, while The Big Picture is indeed a show about whatever I want it to be about, I do try about 90% of the time to make it as broadly appealing as I can. You know, given the fact that I've got a professional responsibility to deliver content people actually want to watch. I get accused a lot of obsessing over certain movies or whatever else, but most of the time you'll notice that these fits of obsession tend to line up neatly with things that are currently popular at the moment and that people keep talking about. Trust me, folks, if I actually did base my show topics on whatever I'm obsessed with, every episode would either be about Masters of the Universe, classic Mario games, Big Trouble in Little China, or Anyway, so I'm hanging out getting other work done while simultaneously watching the news feed and refreshing Twitter, and it eventually becomes clear that the big May the 4th be with you news is nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Just that Rebels cartoon trailer from yesterday and basically nothing else. Well, that day of waiting around for news sure paid off, huh? And now that I've complained about it, watch them go and make an actual announcement on Monday. But I shouldn't really be surprised. Reporting on pop culture and movie news was already going to be tedious and obnoxious with new Star Wars movies coming out, but ever since Disney decided that taking a new run at the single most economically bulletproof multimedia franchise in the history of movie making with the original trilogy cast dragged back for an extra infusion of desperate Generation X nostalgia dollars wasn't playing it safe enough, and hired averageness personified J.J. Abrams to direct, I've just had to accept that it's going to be abject torture. The lead-up, not the movies. The movies no one has seen yet, obviously. Because along with the expected run around one expects when covering the development of a Star Wars project, Episode 7 is now likely to play out its gestation ensconced in the mystery box. J.J. Abrams' cutesy-poo little TED Talk name for his approach to making, or rather marketing, his overwhelmingly unremarkable output of films. A process by which he locks down all the information and opts to say nothing about a project, other than to constantly remind everyone that he's saying nothing about the project. Abrams likes to say that he prefers to keep his movies closely guarded secrets because he's trying to preserve the excitement of the unknown from going to see movies largely uninformed in his own childhood, and I believe him. I think it's kind of a pointless thing to devote time to because artificially and ostentatiously holding back information, up to and including lying about the films themselves, is not really recreating the pre-internet age of movie making because you can't do that without a time machine, but I think his desire is sincere. What's more, I do think it's possible that the Internet Film Critic Press Collective is just a little bit too hard on Abrams sometimes, not necessarily because he's untalented, he's not, he's just not great, but perhaps because his open hostility to the slow drip teaser image speculation as news game translates to an open hostility to their very business model. Let's be very clear here, the constant endless cycle of film geek media speculation goosed by the occasional strategic injection of actual news, i.e. the way Marvel Studios likes to engage the press, is what makes a lot of internet movie journalists able to file the ever-increasing number of stories necessary to keep roofs over their heads. By refusing to play that game, Abrams is literally getting in the way of their making a living. Could that be a small component of why, say, Marvel enjoys a certain enthusiastic tone of coverage overall, while Abrams often finds himself shelved next to Michael Bay and Zack Snyder on the bad guy pedestal? Maybe. Maybe. On the other hand, if the goal of this really is to cut down on overcoverage and restore mystery to the film-going experience, it ain't working. Like I said, I admire what Abrams wants to do with all this cloak and dagger nonsense, but the age of information ubiquity is one of those genies you can't put back in the bottle. Never mind that the mystery box doesn't actually give audiences any more wonder, but rather replaces curiosity about story with curiosity about big twists. But the worst part is, none of this actually matters. It doesn't do anything to prevent the echo chamber of speculation. All it does is force a film press collective that lives and dies by blockbuster franchise speculation to just speculate more obliquely than ever, to make news out of there not being any news. Just look at all the ink we got out of everyone getting together for that goddamn photo. Unless you think I'm setting myself above the problem, I just did a whole episode about making news out of there not being any news. But okay, we'll get through this. Let's just hope the internet doesn't burn itself out before there's even an actual movie to talk about. I'm Bob, and that's The Big Picture.